All right, guys, I am Ali here, and today I'm going to give you some productivity tips when you want to, while you're developing your Xamarin applications. So as you can see on the left side, I got my iOS simulator, and on the right side, I got my Android simulator. So usually when you want to start debugging your application, you would set the OS target as a starter project. But in this case, I chose to set the solution as a starting point. And then I basically set the projects I want to attach the debugger to. So in this case, it's the Android. And then I also set the attribute to start for iOS. So this would mean that there's a attached debugger to the Android thread, and there's an attached debugger to the iOS thread. And of course, the benefit with this is to see if the reflected UI is what I would expect across these platforms immediately. So to check if that's the case, also that I can hit the breakpoint on each operating system, I have here a button with a click handler, with the same click handler, and to see if I hit the Android breakpoint when I click the Android version first. Let's see if I do that, and that's the case. So it gives me the Android as a result. And then I click the iOS simulator, and it gives me the iOS thread. So now in this context, we are in the iOS version, right? So there's two debuggers, one for Android and one for iOS. And then I can see if the UI looks like I want across these two platforms immediately. All right, so let me just comment these necessary labels. So this was the first trick I wanted to show you. Let's keep the OS label for reference. And then at some point, you might want to add some graphics to your application. And usually you would go in and read the official guidelines for each of these operating systems and what the different densities are that you have to support. And for instance, in Android case, you would have a couple of these drawable folders to support those different densities that we have. And these are like native resolution. So you would need to go in and generate a pack of icons for Android and a pack of icons for iOS. This job could be done by your designer, but you could also have some generator tool that does this for you. But all in all, it requires some work. So as you can see, my drawable folder is empty. And I have not really put any icon resources there. So instead, I think we can use the efficiency of vector graphics. So in my shared assembly, I have a couple of these fruits here, orange, watermelon, and cherry. And these vector graphics is just, see by definition. So it's not a static generated PNG or what you would usually have. So I can load the vector graphic directly out of this assembly, and that's what I'm doing here. So I'm using the FF image loading, plugin to load the vector graphic. I'm not saying you have to use this one. There's tons of plugins out there, but at least in my case, this looks like it's working pretty well. And then hopefully, yeah, it appears here, and you can see that the sharpness of the image is pretty good. So I can just easily scale it up and down by factor 10, and it doesn't really matter, right? Because it's just a vector graphic. So then I don't really have to, then I don't really have to think about the OS that I want to target or then those native resolutions. I can just put in that vector graphic and just load it out of the shared assembly. And that will save you a lot of time in my mind. And then we have the collection view, and you can see the UI changes just reflects right away. So this is not a preview. These are actually the running applications. And this is actually native rendered controls behind this, behind this abstracted XAML layout here. So for instance, now I got a collection view, and you can see how easily I can just change it, and the changes will just reflect right away in my application. Or it could be also that I say, okay, I want to have one column, but I want to do the horizontal scrolling. And this is how easy it is, right? And then you can see, okay, at some case we need to fix it. And, you know, let's see, could be that, I don't know. So you might sometimes reapply the changes for the changes to reapply on the platforms. And you can see how easy it is. So in this way, you can just easily create the design that you're asked of easily, you know, without redeploying each time. So I hope you can use a couple of these tricks when you are developing your own Xamarin applications. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. All right, guys, stay safe and good and happy coding.